guys, thank you for joining us. So, this will probably be the last section of the course, and there is something that we will be discussing here, which is formulas. And I think this is what really brings Excel to life. So, let's start off with some basic calculations. I'll have one digit here, that is 2, and I'll have one digit here, which is 2 again. In fact, let's go for 3. So let's say if I want to add these two values, so logically speaking 3 and 2 should become 5. So when you want to enter a formula in Excel, you always enter an is equal to sign to indicate to Excel that you're about to enter a formula. Now the way that I would go about this is that once I've pressed is equal to sign, I'll select my first cell. So you see automatically Excel recognizes that this is F2. I press the plus sign and then I select my second cell. So automatically Excel has highlighted my first cell as well as the second cell that I've selected. Now I press enter. So automatically Excel calculates the value to be 5, and if I press this cell, the formula that it shows me is F2 plus G2 with different colors for each of the different cells. So let's try something else. Let's say if I change this value to 5 and I press enter, automatically my value in this cell will be updated because Excel is actually referring to the cell rather than the value inside the cell. So if I change this to 10, this would become 15. So that's one way of adding your digits or the values into cells. The actual formula for doing this would be is equal to sum, bracket open, and then selecting the range of cells that you want to add and closing the brackets and then pressing enter. So automatically Excel will now calculate the range of cells. I could similarly change the values here to, let's say, 8. This should be 13, and automatically both these values have been adjusted. Now I would say that the reason that this sum function is very useful is, let's say that you have tons of values. Let's say you have a 4, you have a 5, you have a 6, you have a 7, and let's say you have an 80. So I didn't know why I wrote that value, but and if I want to add all these things, what I can simply do is as in with every formula, I add an is equal to, I write sum, I open the brackets, and then I drag and drop across the cells, so it automatically shows me that I've selected cells E8 to E12. I close the bracket and automatically I get a sum of 102. Now I want to show you something very interesting that probably will help you save a lot of time. So this is a one way that we've seen how to sum something. Let's say that you're working on something very important and your boss comes to you and all of a sudden and says, give me a sum for these values. So rather than go for the formula, what you can do is that you select all these values, and if you look at the bottom, you will see that Excel is giving you a couple of really cool things. So it's automatically showing you the sum of your values, it's showing you the count, which is 1 2 3 4 5, and it's giving you an average which is 20.4 without having to do the calculations. So Excel is trying to support you wherever it can. So these are the ways that you can do calculating your values, and in fact one more way is present for calculating your values. Let's say if I select these ranges and I want a value, I can simply go to the top section, and here you will see there is something called auto sum. Automatically added up, your total will appear after the selected cell. So I press auto sum and automatically the value 102 is populated in the cell right beneath my values. And if I look at this, it's exactly the same formula that we had here. So AutoSum technically selects the cells, applies the formula and gives you the value. And similarly, if I change this value to 10, my formula, just have a look at this, would be automatically reflected and it becomes 107. So that is basic calculation, which is addition. So always start your formulas with n is equal to. Now let's talk about multiplication. Now this, if you've understood the concept of addition, I hope this should be fairly simple. Again, as with anything, we press n is equal to indicate a formula. We select the first value. Let's say in fact, let's go for some simpler digits to make the calculation easier. So I say 2 and a 3, the values that we had earlier. I again start off with n is equal to. I select 2, and for multiplication I select the star sign that is usually present on the 8th digit on your keyboard, and then I select the second value, and simply I press enter. So automatically Excel calculates the value, which is Q4 into P4. So if you have a look at this, this is the sign which is usually if you press shift and 8, you should be able to get this value, which is multiplication in your computer. So that's how you multiply. And similarly, if I change this value, okay, I should probably wrap this session up. If I change this value to 1, automatically the calculations will be carried out. What about division? So we've done addition, we've done multiplication. If you talk about division, it's pretty much the same thing. So similarly, what you only have to do is press n is equal to, select the first value, press the divide sign, which is a slash, and press the second value, select the second value, and Excel will automatically highlight those cells. Now technically the answer should be 3 divided by 1, which should be 3, and here you go. So the values are here. So addition, multiplication and division, just basic calculations in Excel. There are a couple of ways you can go about adding your data. You could use the AutoSum function, you could simply select all your cells and have a look at the bottom, or probably you could use the sum function which we used here. With multiplication, you press n is equal to and select the first cell, multiply it by the second cell. The multiplication sign is represented by a shift 8. That's how it is in my laptop. I hope that's the same case for you. And similarly, when you come to division, you can simply select the first value, the dividend, and then the divisor. So that's your basic formulas in Excel. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the comment section. Thank you.